And you will get a voucher if your name is pulled out till, I think, December. And you use it, and it's only good for your name, not your partners in your office.
What? Come on now.
Just make sure you fill this out. We have a full day ahead of us, so. Again, if you need to go to the restroom, go to the restroom. You don't have to stay because we are gonna go through your breaks and your lunch from one instructor to the other. That way we're able to leave a little bit earlier.
It's cruise.
I do appreciate, if you guys like our seminars, I do appreciate you guys' referrals. Send them in. If you don't, it's okay. All right, thank you guys.
It'll be good.
Sorry about that hassle outside. I'm gonna go figure out what's
You can't.
going on.
Yeah, I guess it's a union dispute between the employees and the hotel owner of this one, and also El Segundo. They're not going to renew their contract for next year for their benefits, their pay, all that stuff. So they'll figure it out.
Oh, that's another thing. Next year, the things for the seminars that are going to happen are, it stays at 24, not going up to 36. Plus, it's going to be all Zoom. The only thing that's holding it back right now is the hands-on technique requirement, but they're working on changing that. But the law takes how many years to change? An average of 5 years in the United States? So we'll see how they're going to work that miracle out. Okay?
Good. All right, Dr. Drape.
No. It didn't go up to 36. It was proposed.
Proposed and denied. Like, no, thank you. So, Dr.
You guys would be being activists out there.
How many of us are in private practice? How about who works with a partner? Or who works solo? Perfect. Good. At the end, if you guys want, during the talk, I'll also, because it is an adjusting technique, I'm going to show some videos of adjusting technique that I do, along with if you want to get adjusted, you're willing to get adjusted also. Okay, that's my job here. And as you guys know, when you're in private practice, what happens? You don't get adjusted because you're working the same hours as the other doctors are working down the street. So more than welcome to come up. If you guys want to, let me know. My thing is, this is why she wants me to do this talk. I've been practicing about 21 years now in private practice, graduated in 2002. I'm the 50 and over club now, so yay. A lot of it is, as you guys know in practice, we become experts over time in the sense where when you graduate from school, you have the book knowledge, right? When you go into residency, you have some experience, but when you're in practice for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you've learned how to become a non-burned out, passionate chiropractor. I have a podcast, I'll put all my stuff at the very end. I do podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, tic-tac-toe, all the social media stuff, because when I was in practice initially back in 2002, 2003, what was the number one way to advertise back then? You guys remember? Us not younger doctors? What was the number one way to advertise back then? What did we do? Newspaper, yellow pages?
Yellow pages, newspaper, movie screens.
Boom.
Yeah.
Spinal screenings back then too. Go out there and put a booth up. I worked for a doctor for a couple years, so that's what we did.
I did commercials on cable.
There you go. See? You were your prime time back then.
Right. Movie screens.
That's classic. That was high end back then. What happened back in, I want to say 2010, 2012, the yellow pages started dying. I think we spent about $2,000 a month on the yellow pages and the white pages because we had the double, for younger doctors, we had the double truck ad, full color, beautiful, but that was great, but it was only going from say 10, 15 patients a month in the office to maybe 3 or 4. Then came what? Then came the World Wide Web, right? Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Google ads, then YouTube, then Facebook, now Instagram and TikTok. So how we now communicate our information, our field to our local community over time so they see who we are? I get about probably a third of our patients from social media, including Yelp reviews, Google reviews also. We probably all have that. But how do we make sure our reputation, our image is good in the environment? What do we have to do? I did my interview with a Dr. Brian a couple days ago on Thursday. He's selling a practice in Upland, and he's in practice for about 40 years. So I like to pick older doctors, just older people's brains of how they did it. Passionate chiropractor, His wife retired from the airlines 2 years ago. She wants to travel. He wants to travel too. He's just done. He's 72 years old and healthy, still powerless. So he's going out in a good way. So I picked his brain in my, and you'll see, didn't show up on, I wasn't able to upload it today, but I'll tell you a couple things from him is where, how did he stay passionate for 40 years? How many people you know you graduated with from chiropractic school, when you graduated with and are no longer practicing? I know a bunch. And then sometimes it's, what he was saying too, is sometimes their personality and their drive to become a chiropractor was more financial, not to help people. You can do that for so long, and all of a sudden you lose that passion. If, for example, if you were back in his days, a work comp doctor. Anyone here do work comp? Cool, great, fantastic. Back then it paid like a lot of money. And you could almost double up on insurances for one, too. Very well, but if that's all you did, all of a sudden that died, at that point you're done. I knew one doctor, he's up in Utah now. He had $1 million practice in San Diego with work comp. Had an MRI, had a physical therapy, had everything ready to go. Once he saw the tables turning, work comp was dying, he gave everything away right before it died. But he was done. When you have a family practice like this Dr. Bynum I'm talking about here, a lot of it is you adapt as you go. But the biggest thing is his message never changed. As a chiropractor, what do we focus on? And some people have their different niches also, is the adjustment. This allows us as a specialty, a doctor chiropractic, to be the person that does this every day and just does this. You may sell vitamins, pillows, may have other therapies you do also, fantastic, but can we focus on this as a way to tell our patients how we're different than a physical therapist, than your medical doctor, than your acupuncturist? How are we different? And one thing I was talking about too is, what does a doctor of chiropractic mean? What does doctor mean, right? You guys remember what doctor means in school? Teacher. How do we educate our patients? What do we do? Everyone has different, right? Some people, I use X-ray in my office. We do a full exam initially. Spend about half an hour of the first visit with them for 1, 2. Obviously, a full symptom, a questionnaire, all of that before even the adjustment happens. So we know, as we all know, we want to avoid red flags, right? What's the number one magazine was it? It was not NCMS. It was one of them where they'd always go over the malpractice issues of the day. We don't want to be in those issues. I don't want to be in that magazine. I'm trying to avoid that type of publicity. I don't want to be on cable TV. Like, this is my malpractice problem. No. But I want to make sure we're doing the right things, that we avoid that initial contact, and even initial phone call, is you're in the right place. By doing the right exam, if the x-rays is needed, and also asking the right questions, we make sure they know in the right place too. Is that important? Because when somebody's got practice, even though it's 2024 now, how many people still don't know what we do? A lot of people. Or they come in because they come like this, right? Usually a guy, they sit down in your office, they're kind of mopey, like I would be, and go, ugh, fill out paperwork. You see them like, they're like, this would be a fun one. And all of a sudden, I go, hey, why are you here? My girlfriend sent me in. My wife sent me in. I'm like, well, why? I've had this back problem for a long time, and she's saying it's chiropractic can help. So you have to almost like, at that point, okay, now here's a big wall I have to deal with to get him to understand this is where you need to be. How many people you have that come in your office, especially guys, I pick up my gender all the time, is they wait till the last minute to come in. They come in hobbling. Or they come in, they can barely stand up because they waited so long to take care of their problem. Or the other side too, as we know, especially since COVID, which has helped us a lot, I think, is they're being pushed through the medical profession to where, yeah, we'll see you in about 4 weeks for your severe back problem or neck problem. We'll see you in 4 weeks. Then at that point, we'll schedule your x-ray about 2 weeks later. Then we'll have you come back 8 weeks after your initial phone call to come in and see my office at that point, and then go over your results. So if you're a person, and just from patient perspective, someone who's after 8 weeks to actually get results to get maybe some treatment, would you be upset? I would. Patients call me all the time. Can you see me because my doctor does not want to see me for at least 4 weeks? And I have this pain in my neck that's not going away for about 3 months, and it's not getting better. I go, that's what we do. So when you give someone initial exam, x-rays if needed, and assessment, and then treatment, they get the results the same day. At that point, you change their life. Sometimes we forget about that, right? We have our practices, we have our personal lives, bills to pay, taxes to pay, especially California, pay double tax, I think, in California, whatever it is. And I was in Pittsburgh a couple days ago for the Steeler game, and I went to the restaurant, I'm like, this bill's $100 for dinner, and I'm paying like $10 in taxes versus 60 or a lot more in California. You know, so when we have that perspective, okay, how do I get in my office and focus on Sally, on John, because they're here right now, to give them experience that should be our standard of care. At that point, they leave that initial 5-minute examination, assessment, and that 10-minute whatever we're going to do, they see that they're in the right place. They know you're a doctor of chiropractic, not just the chiropractor. And that difference in someone's eyes, when we have that perspective, we've educated our patients that they have this problem, we know what their problem is, and we're the expert on that problem. How do we make sure that, breaking down that experience, what's the number one thing we have to do to make sure that experience is explained properly so they understand that we're a doctor of chiropractic? What's the number one thing we have to do? Communicate well. How do we communicate? So many different ways. Body language, tone of voice, how high we speak for one, too. How do we use that? I don't know if you guys know this or not, that term like attracts like. You know what that is? If someone does this in your report room for the first time, they do this, and they cross their leg, what should you do? Probably cross your leg. If someone talks at a high volume voice, initially, what should you do? Talk at a high volume voice. If they're more of a low tone voice, more of an, I call it introvert type of voice, at that point you mimic their voice. You want them to go, I like this person. I don't know why, I like this person. You know, if they sit back like this, you do the same thing. You know, they go, okay, initially, I don't know what he's saying, but I know I like him. It's like communication skills 101. I have interns in my office too. I teach them, you're an intern, you want to go in the healthcare field, but how do we make sure your communication skills, so you're good book knowledge, can you communicate well? I know a lot of doctors, you probably know too, that graduate from chiropractic school with straight A's. I knew a few of them. I call them nerds, whatever. But part of that is they were almost the students that worked on the book knowledge, but didn't have the people skills. So I want to make sure with my interns, with my staff, with doctors in general that come to my office and want, especially residency or what's it called, preceptorship now with students, chiropractic students, is they communicate well so they understand how to do it properly. And that term, like attracts like, I have them look it up also and come back and tell me what it is so they learn how to work on their body language, their tone of voice, their vision, their everything. If someone looks in their eyes, look in their eyes also, not in a scary way, but something to where they know you're communicating well. How many, and again, this may be stereotypical, how many people you go to shake their hand and it's like a floppy fish, right? So can we make sure we have a firm handshake, look in their eyes? This is my intern, so I'm talking to high school kids and college kids too, this Cal State Fullerton up the street, is how do we make sure they're doing the right things to have that first impression? Because we get how many times to make a first impression? What's how many times? One time. So we want to make sure us, and if you have staff too, that your staff also is the same thing. Like people have staff here. Office manager, front desk, back office, CAs, whatever they're called. They can either make or break your office, as you know. I've had some good ones. I have some ones that I'm like, you know what, give me the keys because you're done for the day and for the rest of the days. I had one quick story. Massage therapist in my office, just working part-time. I'd pay her hourly for like doing 20 massages three times an hour for say a couple days a week. Just for a patient, auxiliary care, whatever. She would show up late, not show up at all sometimes, be sick, and start asking for extra money for tips. I'm like, no. When your patients tell you, you have long-term patients, your long-term patients, at this point, I'm going to probably use my long-term patients to interview new staff because they know the office better than anybody, what to expect, right? Your long-term patients. So one of my patients said, hey, she's asking for extra tip. Is that right? I'm like, no. Called in on a Saturday. I go, hey, I need your keys. And she goes, well, why? I'm letting you go. You're fired. She goes, well, why? Well, because you're late, and sometimes you just don't show up. And she goes, well, if I knew I would have been fired for being late or not showing up, I would have been here on time. Perfect. Please, no crying, no crying. Here's some tissue. Just leave the door. Go. We have to be aggressive, I think. And when I say aggressive, might be the wrong term. That we have to be assertive that our reputation is based on them first and then us. Who answers your phones? Who takes the phone calls? Who calls people back? They're your first impression. When we know that, we have to make sure our reputation stays up here. And the problem is, I work with a partner, right? I work with a partner. His wife works for a big real estate company. And their system, like bureaucracy, you have to give them a warning first when you fire somebody, a warning, a verbal warning, then a written warning, then a sit down. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. I just let people go. My staff, my last manager's been there for about 32 years now. She's been before me, the other doctors too, before me, about the practice. She just writes them a check. Here's your severance pay, go, get out of here. You know, she knows what to do. But my partner's wife, they have all this bureaucracy. I don't have time for that. Because that next phone call could be someone going, hey, this doctor's a jerk because his staff's a jerk. We want that first impression to be key. When someone walks in the door too, if you have I look at my Monday mornings, I here's all I would call them the red ones. Those are new patients on our book. We're old school, paper and pen. I'm not sure people are on iPads now. We're just paper and pen, old school. Write people's names down, who's coming in, and new patients. Hey, and then Alexis knows Carla's coming in Monday morning at 9 o'clock. So when Carla comes in, we'll recognize her. Hi, Carla, nice to meet you. Does your staff do that? Do they come in with a smile on their face? I tell my staff, if you're not happy that day, don't come in the office. I'd rather run to myself poorly, because I can answer phones, I can answer credit cards, I know what I'm doing. I'd rather do it poorly than have someone come in with a bad attitude. Because we come in our office, and I'll show you one of the slides I have there too, is we want to make sure they come in knowing that they're going to leave at least comfortable, at least happy at some point in their visit. But going back to communication too, that communication is so important initially, because when we have that, and talk to interns also, that sets up their whole chiropractic experience, right? If they've never seen chiropractor before, you want them to make sure they have that first experience to be perfect as much as you can, so that point they leave that initial exam going, I'm in the right place. Going back to that. When we have that in the right place attitude, at that point, this visit becomes less anxious for them. How many guys, and even doctors too, I've done it also, go on YouTube and hear all the cracks, all the pops, all that stuff, all the Y strap. Right, who does use the Y strap in here? Anybody? I know one doctor who does. He's a cool doctor in Rancho near me. But it is risky, per se. I had one patient come in. He went with his buddy to the guy in Rancho. Real nice. He's very, I call it gullible. You'll see him in a second too. I call him gullible because, my buddy talked me into it, so he had it done. Now I have severe neck pain and headaches again. The problem with the Y strap, as you guys probably know, it's a general distraction. And if you have any arthritis or neck arthritis, where now the ligament's connected to the bone, the disconnect of the bone, at that point you're going to cause that quick jerk to cause that to tear or strain. Will that cause inflammation of the disc? Yes. Will that cause neuropathy? Yes. So unless you're a healthy person and you have an x-ray showing that you're a healthy spine, that may be risky for you. I have malpractice. I don't want to use it. We all have malpractice. We want to make sure we're not using it for stuff that we know may cause injury to the patient, or they may think may cause injury to the patient. We can have a malpractice lawsuit just because they think they're hurt by a chiropractor. It's possible. I had one lady come in. She had breast implants done, and we said, "Did your doctor say it was okay to get adjusted?" "Yeah, no problem at all." She got adjusted. 3 days later, she calls, "I think I have a problem with one of my breasts." I go, "What happened?" "Well, I saw you, and we did an easy adjustment, just more seated cervical, some low back, didn't even touch the chest or adjust the thoracic area at all." And she goes, "But I went to go work out the next day, so at that point, I think that may have been the problem." Why did she call us first versus the state, you think? Because she trusted us. She wanted to make sure you knew our opinion first, what might have happened for what. When you build trust with your patients, as you guys, as doctors know, that lets them to come to you first within their problems. They're going to call you first before saying, I don't know if they hurt me or not, or what happened. So you're helping yourself out, I'm calling out practice-wise or stress-wise, by having that good relationship with your patients, to where I use the term with my patients, we try to be personal and professional. Does that make sense? Professional, of course, but personal is that going, let's figure out what's going on, let's communicate well together. At that point, this experience will be good for you. Versus a doctor coming in and going, what do you want me to do? Lie down. You know, ever go to this is kind of the same thing. My wife always says, jump around. I don't jump around all the time. Is you ever go to a restaurant and get bad service? Same thing, right? We're in Pittsburgh. I go, was she rude? As that just means like part of it's you, but yeah, she didn't communicate well at all. Well, they said like something at the restaurant. My example is, can we get some silverware, some plates for our food? She goes, she looks at me, looks at us, and goes, and throws down some disposable plastic forks and knives. I'm like, that's nice, appreciate it. I told my wife, I'll be right back. Went to the bar. Get some silverware, please. I don't mess with that type of stuff. So when you have an expectation of good service here, as we do for ourselves, right? That when you get less service, you're like, why do I feel my shoulders tense up? Why do I feel like my shoulders are burning? Because I'm getting upset. That's my thing. But when we can provide our patients with a higher standard of care than they expect from the medical doctor, can that make you look like the better doctor of chiropractic? We know, right? We have senior patient specialists. Senior patients complain a lot to me about because they see a lot of doctor appointments, how they're going to the doctor, again, for the same problem, and sit in the office for about an hour in the waiting room. And when they do in the waiting room, see a doctor for about, probably the PA or maybe the nurse practitioner first for about 2 minutes, and said, here's your new medication, we'll see you next visit. If we do that if we did that as doctors of chiropractic, would we see a lot of patients? Probably not. They would be upset with us. I would be upset myself. So I want to make sure I'm taking care of my patients better than the stereotypical medical doctor. I know some great medical doctors. I have a couple of nurse practitioners I work with my patients when they need imaging done or something else done or blood work done. But in general, I get the stereotypical from my patients, their perspective is, my doctor doesn't care. I don't trust my doctor's opinion. I'd rather ask you about my medication, even though I don't know about medication. I can look it up. I can see what they want to do. I'd rather ask you, Dr. Anthony, about my medication versus my medical doctor, because I trust you more. How do we build that trust your first visit and consecutive visits over time, so at that point they see the benefit, you know? Quick break. Here's a quick video of why we treat patients. Let me see if I can get this to work. Here we go. And work for me. Is that right? Here we go. A little patient compilation. 2 years.
After I think it was 4 weeks of treatment, I was actually able to go to Mexico for a week for my cousin's wedding. I was able to do everything. It was zip lining, it was rock climbing, horseback riding, surfing. I was able to go out. I was able to enjoy myself. I was able to think of something besides the pain for once, which was really nice. It was, it was the first time I cut loose, and since before I got hurt, and I forgot how good it felt to be able to do that again. And honestly, I don't think I'd been able to do it if I were coming.
Out of the 7 days a week, I would probably have 2 good days.
How much medication percentage wise think you decrease versus we're taking, say, even 4 or 5 months ago?
I probably went down to 80%.
What would you want to tell people about what we do? What's one thing that we do to help?
I would say you gotta try it, because, I mean, I tried everything. I tried natural medicine, I tried acupuncture, I've been searching for it. I've like been all over the place.
Tell the difference. Every time I wake up in the morning,
Frank.
I'm not stiff. I go home and I do my regular daily walking. I do a little exercise with my kids. They were to that now without me, cracking up. So yeah, I wake up in the mornings, I feel rejuvenated. I feel like I'm 34 years old. Now, why I recommend you guys to come, because now, exactly, when, I'm sick or so,
Jokester.
I need to get my fix, and, I gotta get that crackling popping.
Whatever. And that's part of it too, is we have all these stories, right? Who has these stories, similar stories? All of us. And what was the key for a lot of them is just trying it. See what we can do. I had one lady come in, she was probably, I want to say late in 50s, she was probably in her early 30s, had severe headaches. So you guys probably have this too, where she had Botox in her head every day, or a couple times a week for headaches. Came in 4 times, she's like, my headaches are gone. I'm like, okay. She goes, what did you do? I'm like, magic. I don't know how it works. And I joking with them obviously too. But it allows you, when I have these videos out there, and I do it like I said, more social media stuff, people don't realize how much we can cause a change in their life. Get back to the doctor I interviewed a couple days ago. As a doctor of chiropractic, we're a specialty. We're like that one specialty that, like a left eye specialist or something, that people don't know about until someone tells them or they look it up on their own. So let's you have a whole people like they did earlier out there on their sirens and their horns yelling about chiropractic for your office, causing me to have my ears ring right now still from all that loud noise. It's hard to do that every day. But having stuff out like I do with the videos out there allows people to see that and be the next person to tell someone to go see a chiropractor. I can't spend every day out there marketing and putting up like we did before in the old days, spinal screenings at the grocery store, at a bed place or something like that too. I'm not going to do that. But can I put stuff out like this that people see results so they get it? I tell my patients, hey, if you like what we do, if you like this and I see where they came from, you guys do or not, when someone signs up as a new patient in your office, our staff gets their name, phone number, and where they came from. And also if their insurance or cash or personal injury or whatever it might be. I always want to know where they came from. Was it a personal referral? Personal referrals for us, they get a note from us, a personal handwritten note. Hey, thank you for sending in Johnny. We appreciate it, and I'll see you next visit. And we're old school. Okay, you may want to send them a text message, but that's fine too. But by doing old school stuff for us, the standard for us, allows them to go, man, I got something to mail from these guys. That's just if you're an older senior patient, like I got a card from my chiropractor. And I'll do it for that more, like we just want to thank them. They came in from, for example, a Google or somewhere on social media. We also have them go, hey, if you found us on Yelp or Google, we'd like to send you, here's a quick link. Send us a quick review if you can. I tell them at least a 2-star, appreciate it. Why do I say 2-star? Because they're going to go, hopefully they go, no, doc, you deserve a 5-star. I'm like, I know, but I just want to make sure you know that too. But at that point, you want to make sure people know who you are. And we can't sit there and just hope and pray that patient will come to our door, but we can give the experience, and we had this over time, that good experience, then these results happen, and then they send their friends and family in. That's why I only have to work 3 days a week. Because yesterday I saw 85 people yesterday, full day, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. That's my full day. It's going to be tiring. It's going to hurt sometimes too, me. But can we be busy enough to where we're not worried about having an open, if you want to call it, not being busy enough for what you want to do? And by doing the right things we talked about earlier, communicating well, good body language, then our system of the adjustment, people coming back in your office becomes simple. You know, it's not, when you have a system down and you fill that system up, it just keeps feeding itself and feeding itself and feeding itself. You know, and my wife says, how come you says you're always busy? Because I'm always busy. We don't waste any time. By doing other stuff like this too, allows people to see when we can't see them. We talk about working in your practice and also working on your practice. This stuff is more, and this stuff here too, me videotaping right now, is me working in my practice. And you guys are more welcome if you like want to take a picture or anything or shoot a video, I give the link to, so that's fine. So next one here, you guys have this also probably in your office too. As it says, beneath every treatment or procedure, there is a life which is led by someone, person of dignity and worth, who is unique in the eyes of God. The task of every physician is to cure occasionally, to relieve often, to comfort always. That make sense? We'll go one more time at the very end. I talk about this with my patients. When new patients come in the door, even older patients have been along for a while. I go, hey, before you leave my office, make sure you see that quick quote on the way out. I tell them that. They go, what do you mean? Just go read it. When you come in next time, let me know what you think about that. We talk about this. People come in our office, right? And they may have a problem that we can help them with, but sometimes being a specialist, sometimes we can't. So can we make sure we're thinking about this, curing occasionally, relieve often, and comfort always, to make sure they know the right place. I remember 1 month, a few years back, I had 2 patients come in with severe disc extrusions, disc tears. I go, I give you 2 weeks of care. In 2 weeks, you're not getting better, you're not in the right place. This is like with one person already having surgery scheduled a month out. Both of them didn't get better. Both were done. But both called me after surgery because I call them afterwards. How'd it go? What's going on? I just want to make sure you're doing okay. They go, thanks for the call, but also thank you for at least trying to help me. He's trying to do this to give them another option. So when we can do that, allows them to see, hey, I'm just a doctor of chiropractic looking to help people, if I can. I had someone come in too. We take x-rays in our office, so came with a broken wrist. Go, here's your x-ray on a disc, and the ER is right down the street, ER is right down the street. Go to San Antonio Hospital, you're done. I go, and same thing. Thanks, doc, appreciate it. I got the right, now I know what's going on. Now to have the x-rays, boom, I can fast track my bracing or my surgery, whatever I need. I had one kid come in a few years back, probably 10 plus years, 23, 24-year-old kid mechanic, severe back pain. The biggest thing that got me in my head was he had not gone to the bathroom in 4 days. What does that mean to you? Has not gone to the bathroom, urinated, or number 2 for 4 days. So sacral plexus pinched severely for 1-2. At that point, x-rays showed a spondylolisthesis, grade 4. You guys know what that is, right? Spondy, grade 4. Boom, here's your x-rays on a disc. ER's down the street. Surgery that night. But if you would have waited longer, go to the ER. Oh, here's your x-rays, go see your doctor, blah, 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 blah. No one wants to wait. Get someone to help the same day sometimes if you can. And it's so many stories that we have as chiropractors where we go, we've helped them expedite their care in our office or not as quick as possible. I had one person come in on a Monday, comes in, gets treated, goes, man, I am upset. I'm like, what did I do? I was like, no. I went to ER yesterday because I had severe pain. You weren't open on a Sunday. And he goes, I spent 3 hours there, gave me a script for pills. I had to go fill them up, didn't help me. Spent, say, a total of 4 hours. Came here for 10 minutes, and I feel better. I'm like, I know I told you that, Art, last time you did this. So when you have those stories, allows us to see how much we're helping someone change their lives, right? What's the big picture of chiropractic for patients? How can we help them big picture-wise? You guys ever talk about your patients about quality of life? The benefit of that? So I was talking to Dr. Bryan again, the guy I interviewed a couple days ago. Being a chiropractor allows him to get the adjustment and then live hopefully a healthier life. You guys talk to your patients about doing stretching, exercising, things like that. I'm not a nutrition guy as much as that, for one too, but I like to talk to my patients about stretching and give them stretches also in my office the first day, go over it with them, and then send the videos to them afterwards. By doing that, allows them homework before their next visit. I see a lot of union workers, construction workers, iron workers, steel guys, ground guys, everybody. So a lot of guys, as we all were probably before too, when we were still invincible, right? Who was invincible before? I was, until I had like a shoulder injury, then a back injury, then a list. My list is very long. But a lot of it is, I always ask them first, when they come to the door, especially the younger, I go, are you still invincible? They go, I think so. I'm like, don't worry about stretching, you're fine. No stretches for you. You're just going to adjust to get out of here. And they come back a couple days later, like, so it hurts. I'm like, are you still invincible? I don't think so anymore. Okay, now let's talk about some stretching. I've been in practice for 20 years now. I don't waste time with someone, a patient, for example, it's not willing to learn a different thing they can do. So because I just want to get adjusted and get out of here. I'm like, sounds good to me. I'm not going to worry about, okay, your spine's connected here. Here's your x-ray, blah, blah, blah. Go, that's all you want? Boom, get you adjusted. But I want to make sure, in my sense, I'm allowing them to get what they want, but also give them what they need to at the same time. And understand, okay, if this doesn't feel good, we didn't take an x-ray yet. So if you feel in 2 days it doesn't feel good, in 2 days we'll take an x-ray. Is that okay? You guys ever use your nodding your head to get that agreement? Does that work with you? See you in 2 days. If that doesn't feel better. There you go. Okay. But having that agreement, at least verbally, they're going, I know if in 2 days I'm not feeling better, I have to go back for another treatment and probably x-rays. You set them up to expect something that can happen. Hopefully they're better, but if not, you know they have to come back and now do this. There you go. This is why it didn't work the first time. I had someone come yesterday. I had 4 new patients and 3 reactivated patients. One had seen a chiropractor for about 2 months, no x-rays, no outside imaging, and wasn't getting better. Take an x-ray, saw the spine he had before, along with the tilted pelvis, things like that too. Adjust them a different way, felt better right away. When someone's not getting better in your office, how long, and again, everyone's preference is different, do you wait to go, we need to do something else? I had a kid come in, Jonathan, I'm still seeing him now. I want to say November, October, and he had severe back pain. I'm like, maybe he's okay, I don't know. So you're not getting better. They said in 2 weeks, I told his mom too, MRI for sure. MRI comes back, disc extrusion. Like it was slightly torn, maybe moderately torn, based on what I can call. Said, hey, you have 2 options. Do you want surgery or do you want a long treatment plan to get yourself better? Because I do not want surgery. My friend had surgery. It didn't turn out well for him. I'm like, okay, you have to let me know. If not, we'll hold off the treatment right now. You have to be sometimes assertive with your treatment plans, I think, to give them the here or here versus what do you want to do? They go, I don't know, doc, what do you want to do? You just go back and forth. This is what your options are. You can do this or this. What do you want to do? Even when you schedule patients too, right? When your staff schedules patients, do they say, what day do you want to come in? Or are we available Monday or Tuesday? And if they say Monday, do you want morning or afternoon? And if you want morning, do you want 9:30 or do you want 10? You lock them in to where you want them. By doing that, you go, here's your commitment, here's your time. We always ask them too. I know it's a couple days away. Do you want us to give you a reminder call? No, I got it. Okay, just want to make sure. And some patients just forget the first time. They forget when they come in, for one, part of it too. But having this here, again, going back to this, making sure we make their visits, whatever day 1, day 30, day 2000, their next visit, where we're talking about this the whole time. How long does this take you to do with an existing patient? What's your visit time? Mine is a maximum of 5 minutes. I was telling the doc earlier too. My staff know, especially if the office is busy with patients for 1, 2, I have a 5-minute rule. In 5 minutes, if I'm not out of the room with a patient, they come and get me. Exactly. They go, hey doc, there's a so-and-so on the phone has a question for you about his severe back pain. Oh, bear with you. Oh no, we're done. Usually in 2 minutes, I'm done with my visit. I'm done. The other 3 minutes is them talking about something may not affect their care. My sister Sally's in town for the weekend. Oh, that's nice. I'm counting down. Where's my staff? Where's my staff? Come and get me. You know, so you're not being rude. They may be going, he's just busy. Let's go. You know, so, and patients that I do know, like this guy, what's his name? Dave. I go, Dave, you saw at the front office, right? He goes, yeah, you have full house. I'm like, lie down, let's go. You got to go. Come on, I saw you yesterday. Let's go. So you have to use, what's Paul call it? You have to read the room, right? You got to see who's in the room with you. Someone's in there going, I just lost my family member, or I lost my pet, whatever it is too. You'll spend more time with them. I'll tell my staff, hey, give me 4 minutes, I'll be right out. They go, okay. Your staff at that point, if you have staff long enough, they should be able to read you also, right? Your tone of voice, what's going on, give them a little wink, whatever it is too. I go, or if they don't know, I'm like, hi, I'm going to go treat Miss Sally. I go like this. And they go, oh yeah, 5-minute rule. I give them the quick, like, big eyes. 5-minute rule. Go for it. So having that communication with your staff obviously is important. So our visits are not, I want to say, draining to ourselves versus being efficient. You're here for chiropractic care. Let's get your care done. At that point, we get you out here doing your own more life. I had one patient come in, a young student from San Diego, going to Laverne Colleges where I live out here. And I treated her, okay, we're good. Because she still chiropractic before, so I said, okay, your visit will be very quick, blah, blah, blah. You have x-rays done before. You want your back done, get your back done, good. He goes, well, what else, doc? I go, what do you mean, what else? I go, I'm adjustment's done. Therapy's done. Do you want some more exercises? Do you want more stretching? Well, usually the chiropractor I see in San Diego, he says about a 30-minute visit. I'm like, for what? What are you doing for 30 minutes? Playing bingo or something? I don't know. But I want to make sure when we're seeing patients, we be efficient so they know they're respecting your time also. Go, hey, I know you have your visit. I know you have you're picking up your kid in about 15 minutes. Let me get you done real quick so get to your car and then you don't stress about picking up your kid. We see a lot of UPS patients too. We see them before they go to work. So if my staff knows if they're wearing their browns, at that point they go first before everybody else. And my other patients know too. If you have to go to work, you let my staff know so you get treated first. Boom. So it's a way to respect their time also because they have to get out of there. You don't know what's going to happen with their own personal life for one too. So next one here. We talk about this for our patients, right? Maybe not the first day because they're in for pain. Someone comes in your office, I have back pain. Well, you know the neck nerve here goes into your head causing headaches. If it causes stress, they have back pain. If it's acute pain for one, I'm going to talk about their back pain. Let's take an x-ray if needed, get them treated, get them calmed down for one. If they're in chronic pain, different story. Chronic pain causes what? All of these things. This improved posture, that may be the cause of their pain, but everything else is in chronic pain category for me. Something in chronic pain, how do they come into here? How do they represent? What do they look like? Quiet, reserved, maybe a little like standoffish for one too. They're stressed. Their pain, as you guys know, going back to the autonomic system, nervous system for one too, breaks down to sympathetic, parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is the rest and relaxation. Sympathetic is your stress response. They're in fight or flight. So how do you get that to correlate maybe with their x-rays, their assessment, their questionnaire initially? You haven't slept well. Does that make you feel stressed sometimes? Yeah. You ever feel like some of that stuff is making you anxious? Once in a while. Have you seen your doctor? Especially if they're chronic patient, if they're chronic pain, the most they've seen their doctor is urgent care. They've gone somewhere medically to get some type of help. What did your doctor say? I had one person come in last year, I still see her, and she came in, she was 23 years old. She had neck pain and shoulder pain down here. So she saw her doctor, couldn't figure out what it was. X-rays, medically, as we all know, is negative, right? what is a negative or a normal neck x-ray or back x-ray of someone from medical perspective? Nothing broken, nothing torn, there's no fraction, no tumor, there's nothing that blows up on the x-ray. But we know when there's misalignment, it can cause that pinch in the neck, that causes headaches, causes shoulder pain, in her sense, insomnia. She sleeps like 2 hours a night for 6 months. So would that make you feel like you're going crazy? Make me feel like I'm going crazy. My wife would probably admit me. My wife would put me in a hospital. You know? So part of it is, so what they did is send her to a psychologist. Said it's all in your head. Ever a patient like that? Where it tells you your doctor, their doctor, sent them to the psychologist because it's all in their head. The pain's here, not actually in their spine. So she saw a psychologist. Psychologist says, it's not in your head. She was stuck. One of her friends knew who we were, sent her to her office. 2 months later, she was sleeping 6 hours a night. Now she works out again. Now she's a full-time nurse again. She took some time off of work, and she works out, stays active, sleeps about 6 hours a night for one too, knows how to control it. Can we help these people get better from a psychological issue versus an actual spinal issue? So this stuff here is one of the things I use to let people know why they're having this problem because of everything else going on in their body. At that point, they know they're in the right place, right? Right? We want to make sure they're in the right place. When we have that, allows them to see, I'm going to give you pain relief. I'm going to make sure by improving your spine, you sleep better, you have fewer headaches, you feel less stressed, and over time you learn how to maintain that stress level down by doing the right things after the visit. We see someone, like I said, mine takes about 5 minutes, not very long for one too, but a lot of it is outside the office, what are you doing? Are you doing stretching? Are you doing icing heat, whatever it is too, to get it better? No, I'm just taking the meds. Okay, do you want to take more meds or do you want to get better? I go, okay, let's get it better. So once they get to that point where they agree to that, I'll give them stretches, like I said before, stretches, and then help them strengthen. I'm not their coach, but I'll get them the right path. So you're the doctor chiropractor, help them through the adjustment, now have a better quality of life. Big picture, right? At that point, by doing that, you may not see them forever 3 times a week, but you'll see them when they don't feel well. When they feel their sleep is off. When their headaches come back a little bit. When they feel just they're stressed. When every patient come and go, I don't know if it's my neck, what is going on, but these shoulders, they never really relax. There you go, that's your neck. Adjust them. Okay, that's what you needed. So when you get that immediate relief, what I tell them is that's a pinched nerve, neuropathy. When we release that nerve relaxes, your muscle relax immediately. That's how we know it's neuropathy. They go, all right, that makes sense. I always tell them, I joke with them if I know them too. And as long as I sound confident, you're going to buy it anyways, but just believe what I'm saying, right? As long as ever go somewhere, when someone sounds confident, like, you're confident, I'll buy that thing from you. We're up in Idlewild near the Palm Desert area, Palm Springs, and there was a spice shop up there. And this guy was like telling me about spices, they're all locally made. It's called this. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. I'll buy like 4 of those. My wife's like, why are you buying them for? I don't even need them. I go, because he has a good story. You know, you give me a good story, I'm in. You know, by you having a good story about yourself as a chiropractor and about their patient's story of getting better, giving him hope, allows them to really see you can help them with this. And when you see the immediate result of, man, that neck pain went from a 10 down to a 9.2, that's the difference. And said, and what do we do? What do you mean what you did? All we do is your adjustment, that's it. I had someone come in, you ever have this? Severe knee pain. X-ray, knee negative. MRI, knee negative. Low back problem. Adjust your low back, knee pain goes away. Ever have that happen? Crazy. I go, we didn't even touch your knee. So I ask them, so where did it come from? My low back doctor. Okay, good, just make sure you knew that. You know, when someone says it feels better, do you pry and go, I always ask them, what do you mean by feels better? Well, it feels like there's less tension in my neck and shoulders. What else do you feel? When you have them verbalize what they're feeling, does it stick with them better in their head? Allows them to even feel like, it feels like it's more permanent, like they're coming back, they're coming to you for that problem staying away. Have you ever a patient especially where when you adjust them, they start crying? Yeah, it happens because emotional release. I tell them that's a normal reaction. Why do I say that? Because to make them feel that's what I expected. Make them feel we're relieving the problems, making them feel this. The underlying causes we talked about, right? The root cause of the problem. For my office, I don't use the word subluxation. For me, it's too many syllables. For me, I break it down the more someone can understand. I may bring that up later, but if someone comes in just wanting pain relief, I want to build them up to that terminology, so they learn we're going to help you with their pain, and then we'll help you with this, 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 and this. We're going to make sure it doesn't come back because we're going to treat this, 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 and this. By understanding their terminology first allows them to understand that you're here to help them. Anyone come in your office and say they have sciatica? Ever have that? I go, yeah, we're going to help you with your sciatica today. That's what we do. I want to repeat what they're saying so we're on the same page again, right? When you start talking, I had my side note. My grandma, when she was alive, she had to go to UCLA because she lived in Playa right near there, and because she had a dehydration issue. Went to UCLA Medical Center, bunch of residents, bunch of high-end nurses. I thought like the high peak, right? The residents come in, the medical student residents, and they want you to hear, because I was there with my grandma, everything about them. They're a fourth-year resident, their name's this, this, and this. They're studying this, want to become this. I'm like, my grandmother's in pain. She doesn't care about you right now. Take care of her first, and the nurse are usually older there. They go, here comes another resident, talking all about themselves. So when we don't do that, that's what we don't want to do, right? Make it about them. At that point, they see that they can trust you. They see the results from the adjustment. Then this becomes easy for them to hope that you can help them with long term. And we do, right? But the initial impression has to be, can we make sure they're in the right place? Communicate well, then this becomes easy for them to see. So, who wants to get adjusted? Anybody? Come on over, sir. I'm going to adjust me too. It's an adjustment technique thing. Yeah. Remember when COVID first happened? It was so hard to find antibacterial. I was like doing little drops. I'm like, okay, make that work. Dilute as much as you can. Tony. Brandon, nice to meet you. What's going on? Anything going on?
No.
Cool. Grab a seat. Grab a seat for sir. When and this goes back to me too. When you tell someone to lie down, face down, what do they normally do?
Opposite.
Go to the back. So I tell them, lie face down on your stomach. So I kind of double it up, or lie on your back, face up, and they still go the other way. So I just sit there and wait, entertain myself, until they figure it out. It's great. So here, adjust the neck first seated, more for upper cervical. Headaches, as you know, eye pressure, eye blurriness, everything. And deep breath in, all the way out. There you go, done. Easy. You do seated cervicals?
I don't, no.
I do because I have good malpractice. I'm good, I'm covered. Doesn't matter to me.
I shouldn't say I don't often, but
Yeah.
I do.
I like them for the upper part, right there. I'll get your shoulders then.
Sure.
Good. Right hand to your right ear. Deep breath in. Elbow in, all the way in. Good, all the way out. There you go, other side too. Deep breath in, all the way out, elbow in. Boom, good. On your back, my friend. Yeah. Exactly, and I always wait, you know? Because especially at first, and we talk about first patient visits all the time because that's like the most important one. I always tell them too, like I said before earlier, I have good malpractice, don't worry. You know, you're covered. You know? You have to joke around, again, read the room. Joke a little bit so they feel more relaxed, right? If I go, okay, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, hope it doesn't hurt, and blah, 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 you're like, that makes me even more nervous. So, Doc, cross your arms for me. Good, right here. Deep breath in, all the way out. Bring that leg back. All the way out. Easy. And on your side for me too, this way. Yep. the leg drop for me. There we go. Right here. Ooh. How's your stretching, Doc?
Not very.
All right, deep breath in. All the way out. There we go. Other side for me, too. Got to move bones, docs. You guys know that, right? Leg drop. Right here, too. There we go. And what I do, I modify, I should on the table, too. I always put my, actually bring your leg back for a second. I always put my knee on the table, like this when I adjust somebody. Because by doing that, what does that do? When you're leaning over someone's back, right? Here. By doing that, younger docs, don't worry about it yet. When you get older, you'll figure it out. Is by doing that, the pressure's off your back. If I'm here adjusting this way, that's a lot of back pressure. That may be okay for like your first patient day. When you're on like number 70, it's not going to feel great. And even patients that I have that have helping their elderly